What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, joined by the Crunchy Teeth Bearing.
Gershwin.
And we're back at it to answer more questions again in another For the Greater.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put question in front of your question because we get those questions first.
And that is what Trent Jenkins has done. But he has gone above and beyond because there's a new thing called Super Thanks that allows YouTube to let you guys support us directly. And if you guys ask a question via the Super Thanks, we will get that question answered no matter what.
You don't have to. You could also just say thank you, which is what
Trent Jenkins has done. And he says, thanks.
Yes.
And our answer to you is, you're welcome.
But the next question comes from Dark Wolverine. Why Primarchs became weaker after they became demons? That's a good question, and that it does feel that way. It feels like that once they reached apotheosis and they became demon Primarchs, they just went on a losing streak.
Yeah.
So you have Mortarion getting beat up by Gilliman and Khaldor Drago.
Drago first, then Gilliman.
Fulgrim getting bested by Lice. No, what was there was a dreadnought that basically like detonated himself. And basically almost killed Fulgrim, but thankfully Slaanesh brought him back and let him regenerate and stuff like that. But like how is it that these super Primarchs, super beings, these gods are losing now that they are empowered by chaos? And I think part of it is plot, right?
Yes, definitely. The writers always have to make the good guys win in some shape, way, or form.
But the other aspect of it too is that they are pawns now to chaos, and chaos wants to remind these demons that although you're putting in all this effort, at the end of the day, if we step away from your effort, you're going to lose. Because you got to remember that chaos gods are extremely arrogant, selfish, just the negative qualities of all that kind of stuff. So like if you have this demon Primarch that's working for you and he gets really far in your schemes and he feels good about himself, the god feels like, no, let me teach this guy a lesson, and so that he knows that he's being successful because of me. And to show that I'm going to take the power, I'm going to push something so that he loses. That's what's been happening over and over and over and over again.
Exactly. And we have to remind ourselves that pledging yourself to a god is giving you powers and, psychic abilities and everything, but at the same time, chaos is a two-sided coin, where on one side you're this awesome, almost nigh invincible being, and on the other side, you're at fault to all the things that are anti-chaos. Psychers, blanks. Not just that, but there are different types of mechanisms and abilities that certain beings have that can play around with the warp and really make that into your destruction. The Grey Knights are a perfect example of this, to show you that even a captain-level Grey Knight can take out and completely annihilate a Primarch. That's crazy to hear.
Yeah.
Not just that, but the Sisters of Silence, they are another, dagger to use against them. That's why Magnus's power was dampened and Gilliman was able to beat him. So yeah, time and time again, these guys that should be, gods, they fall down to just, regular forces of the Imperium.
Right, yeah. But yeah. Next question comes from Victor Chavez. What are your thoughts on Cipher Cipher being Alfarius?
Yeah, so that's kind of a cool idea, because Alfarius is supposed to be all double-crossing and like conniving and all this. And Cipher is basically he's basically playing both sides. So it's also going with the same theme of like sabotage and double-crossing. And if they are the same guy, that's just more of like a mind F, like whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah.
On one point it makes sense, but at the other point it doesn't.
Because he's a Dark Angel.
Yeah, and then the other one's obviously
Alpha Legion.
Alpha Legion, yeah. And if it is Alfarius, why is he trying to resurrect the lion? Like, what kind of subterfuge is he trying to plan? Like, what's his motivation? Yeah. Is he still working with the Cabal? Is this for like a different nefarious purpose? So yeah, it's just more questions upon questions.
Yeah. No, I agree. Next question comes from Blondie42. Have you guys seen the Black Templar versus Furry animation?
I don't think so, but I'm sure that's going to be pretty Like, I could already see how that goes.
I think I've seen memes of like furry stuff with 40K, and it's never good.
Yeah. It's always great.
Next one.
This one's by Juan Jose Mendivil. How much can a human change or replace their bodies and still remain a human instead of being confused for like abhumans or mutants?
Their entire body, because that's what Belisarius' call is. He's like just a brain now.
Yeah, a brain with everything being cybernetics.
And he has clones.
Which are completely cybernetic.
Yeah, so, everything.
Yeah, it's kind of like, at what point is a ship that you've had forever still the same ship if you've replaced every board on that ship and every like thing on there?
And it's a bit hypocritical because like the Imperium is super xenophobic. They don't want things that are not human-like, but the Adeptus Mechanicus is not human, basically. Because that's not a human. I wouldn't say that's a human, do you?
I would say yes, barely. But then at the same side, it's like, look at furries, for example. There are furries in this universe. They're like a mutant... Abhuman, which the word itself, abhuman, humans in there. They are human, and they still get like ostracized and treated horribly.
So you think then Belisarius' call is still human?
Yes. Based on that description, yes. There is some humanity to him, whether it's in the physical or the... I'm not going to say spiritual, but like the way...
The soul,
the thing that makes humanity, the empathy, which I don't even know if he has that.
Well, why can't, like, if that's the case, then why can't just like a Xenos consider themselves human? And then it just becomes like a,
Yeah, I see what you're getting at. Like, if there's a Xenos that's like, I want to join the Imperium, and like, I want to do the things humans do. I want to be seen as a human. Why can't they be?
Yeah. Especially if they're really close, like Eldar. Eldar are super close, just because of their psychic powers, but...
Well, I mean, if you look at an Eldar, they look human, besides the pointy ears, but like, physically, they are completely different.
Yeah, biologically, yeah.
Yeah.
Or squats.
True. Well, squats are known to come from Earth, but they left millions of years ago, and based on where they settled, their holds, they have different types of like devices called clone skins, which change their DNA to suit their environment. So yes, squats are human.
Without the same DNA.
Yes.
That's weird.
It is weird.
But no, yeah. I think we answered the question, right?
By giving you guys more questions.
Next one.
This one is a very interesting one by Kevin Persinger. What are the various types of quality of foods available to people in the Imperium? Do they have to resort to eating bugs and being happy?
It depends on the planet. The most common livestock thing is groks. Groks are basically reptilian cows. Think of a cow-sized lizard. That's what it is. It's very scary. Can walk on walls. Carnivore, I think. Right?
I believe so. Yeah.
It kills things. So yeah, that.
Yeah.
And it can grow anywhere. So that's like the most common thing.
Yeah, but I mean that's not to say they don't eat like vegetation and plants and stuff like that.
Right. They got tomatoes.
Yeah, it also depends on the world you're on.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you're like in a manufactorum type planet or like a death world, you're not gonna have like vegetation to that extent.
Just potatoes.
Just potatoes you can grow anywhere.
Yeah.
You can make fries. You can make potatoes.
Mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
Baked potatoes. Pureed potatoes. Which is just mashed potatoes.
Crinkle fries, straight fries, thin fries.
Curly fries.
Curly fries.
Next question. This one comes from Juan Jose Mendivil. Attempt number 2. How much can a human change or replace... Oh, no.
We got that one, boy.
Dark Wolverine, we got him. Victor Chavez, we got him.
This one we haven't got yet, and I've been waiting. It's been sitting in my back pocket for days. It is none other than the one, the only, the big one. His question is, I met a guy who said his name was Pepsi. Do you think his name was really Pepsi, or was that just a twisted joke, the kind told by a sick mind who likes to cut off their own thumb for sensual pleasure?
Definitely the second thing. Because cutting off your own thumb for sexual pleasure, you could only do twice.
Right, and then you're screwed.
Yeah, for the rest of your life. You're not going to have that same...
Right, unless you put it into like a
pickle.
Yeah, you put in like between 2 bags of peas. You go to the doctor, they reattach it, and then you do it again.
Over and over and over again. That sucks.
This next question is by the Space Marine. Why is 40K so difficult to FAP to?
It's not. There's a lot you can FAP to.
Mm-hmm.
Sisters of Silence, Tau, Earthcast Thick Women. They're women, right? They're Tau.
Sometimes.
Space Marines.
And let's not forget the top 2, Tyranids, and of course the Adeptus Custodes.
Yeah.
Check out text-to-speech, and you'll see why.
In the original lore, they were supposed to be like abbed. Like the abs were supposed to show, and like that whole thing is true.
Mm-hmm. Their abs had abs.
Yeah. If you check out our 40 facts on the Adeptus Custodi, the super old one that was like posted back in 2012, 13, it has that information. But then it got retcon, and now the Adeptus Custodies do not have their abs on display.
Yeah, because if they're trying to be the impervious shield that protects the Emperor, I mean, unless their abs were as hard as like their armor.
Right.
But then it's like pushes the question, well, like, why do Space Marines have helmets? Most of them have their helmets off.
Right.
Because what's the best protection? Faith in my face.
Right.
Because the Emperor protects. No, he does not. You will get shot in the head.
You get murked.
Yep. Arrows upon arrows will rain on you.
And those were the questions for today.
Speaking of which, can arrows penetrate a Astartes skin?
Well, they usually wear the black carapace.
But I don't think that really attaches to like their face. Because there are some that like start like at the hairline.
Just like a straight up arrow, I think it would, because like if a spear from a weird boy or like a pharaoh orc can pierce.
Yeah, that's true.
Then so could an arrow.
Mm-hmm. But it also depends what it's being fired from.
Yeah, and also like it won't kill the Space Marine, because Space Marines are Space Marines. They have like 2 hearts, 10 brains, a face on their penis. It's because they don't have penises anymore.
Yeah.
2 heads.
They're better than 1?
Well, I mean, we have 2 heads, right? But the other one has eyes and a lip.
I think you said it best. And those were the questions for today. Thank you guys for for giving us questions to answer. Thank you guys for the super thanks, and thank you guys for being here with us in the good and the bad times.
This was Gershwin.
Sound Alchemist, and we are out of here.
Always used to put my freedom first, and then